Number 10. Mike Tyson Punch-Out! Let's go back to 1987, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for Nintendo. This wasn't just any boxing game, it was the boxing game of its time, and standing at the very top was none other than Mike Tyson himself. He wasn't just a famous face on the cover, he was also the ultimate challenge. The game follows Little Mac, a small, scrappy underdog working his way up through increasingly difficult opponents. Success relies on pattern recognition, precise timing, and fast reflexes. Every fight teaches you something new about reading your opponent, finding openings, and reacting under pressure. But all of that is just training for the final bout against Tyson. Here's where the difficulty spikes. For the first 90 seconds, Tyson can knock you down with a single uppercut. One hit and you're on the floor. Even if you manage to block, his punches are fast, powerful, and relentless. His timing is hard to read, and unless you've memorized his moves and practiced your responses, the fight can feel overwhelming. But that's what makes the battle so memorable. Tyson isn't just a boss, he's the final exam. His fight forces you to master everything the game has taught you. Even managing to land a few hits feels like progress. Defeating him, it's a moment players remember for life. Over 3 decades later, this fight is still talked about, not just for its difficulty, but for how perfectly it capped off a game about patience, skill, and determination. Number 9. Senator Stephen Armstrong, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is a high-octane action title developed by Platinum Games, known for its fast-paced combat and exaggerated cinematic style. A spin-off of the Metal Gear series, the game shifts away from stealth mechanics and focuses on stylish swordplay, over-the-top boss fights, and high-energy gameplay systems like blade mode, parrying, and precision dodging. At the heart of this chaos is the final boss, Senator Stephen Armstrong. Though his title suggests a calm political figure, Armstrong is anything but. Enhanced by nanomachines, he becomes a nearly unstoppable force, both physically and ideologically. The battle against him is multi-phase, incredibly aggressive, and designed to push the player's mastery of the game mechanics to the limits. Armstrong's moveset includes wide-reaching area of effect slams, powerful haymakers, and sprinting tackles that punish poor timing. His attacks are fast, and the windows to parry them are tight. The game requires you to be exact. There's little room for error, especially in the later stages of the fight. But what truly makes the encounter memorable is its presentation. The music swells, the dialogue is intense, and Armstrong delivers impassioned speeches mid-battle about power, freedom, and control. It's equal parts theatrical and philosophical, blending political satire with anime-level energy. Number 8. Orphan of Kos: Bloodborne. The Orphan of Kos is Bloodborne's final boss in the Old Hunters DLC, and in true From Software fashion, it's brutal and unsettling. Found on a lonely, storm-battered beach next to the corpse of the Great One, Kos, the Orphan, is born of tragedy, and it fights like it carries every ounce of that pain. At first glance, the Orphan isn't as large or intimidating as some of the game's towering beasts, but don't let its size fool you. This boss is ferocious. It wields what appears to be its own placenta as a weapon, and it shrieks with horrifying rage every time it lunges at you. It's fast, unpredictable, and incredibly aggressive, constantly leaping, swinging wildly, and punishing even small mistakes with massive chunks of damage. If you get hit, expect to lose a lot of health. The Orphan's attacks come fast and don't leave much room for recovery. The first phase is already relentless, but the second phase turns the chaos up to 11. It doesn't transform into a grotesque new form. It doesn't need to. Instead, it just becomes faster, more aggressive, and harder to read. And considering how difficult Phase 1 already is, it's less a fight and more a desperate scramble for survival, where staying alive feels like an achievement in itself. Number 7. Sans: Undertale. If you've played Undertale and chosen the genocide route, where the player deliberately eliminates every monster in the game, you eventually face one of the most iconic and difficult battles in indie game history: Sans. Unlike his earlier appearances as a laid-back, joke-cracking character, Sans becomes deadly serious during this encounter. He knows exactly what you've done, and the fight serves as his final attempt to stop you. It's a stark shift in tone and reveals a depth to his character that had only been hinted at before. What makes the battle with Sans so challenging is that he completely breaks the game's established rules. In most battles, when the player takes damage, there's a brief period of invincibility to recover. Sans ignores this. His attacks deal damage over time, rapidly draining your health with every mistake. Additionally, he strikes first, giving players no time to prepare before the fight begins. His combat style is relentless. Sans throws a constant barrage of attacks, bones, energy blades, and moving platforms that require quick reflexes and near perfect timing to survive. It feels like you're dodging nonstop in a bullet hell arcade game, and even minor missteps can be fatal. He's also intentionally deceptive. Despite being listed with only one attack and one defense, he avoids all your attacks until the very end. The fight isn't about overpowering him, it's about enduring wave after wave of relentless pressure long enough to get your single opportunity to strike. Number 6. Na, God of War Ragnarok. If you thought God of War Ragnarok concluded with the fall of Odin, there's one more surprise waiting in the post-game content: Na, the true Valkyrie Queen. While defeating Odin wraps up the main story, Na offers players a final optional challenge, one of the most demanding encounters in the entire franchise. To understand her role, it helps to look at the broader journey. Ragnarok is the sequel to 2018's God of War, continuing Kratos and Atreus' saga through the Norse realms. Along the way, you face legendary foes including Thor and Odin, but once the credits roll, players can choose to clean up the remnants of Odin's loyal forces. Na leads them, and she is far more dangerous than most expect. Na is a level 9 enemy, the highest in the game, and her combat style reflects that. She attacks with relentless speed, chaining together elemental spells, ranged projectiles, and punishing melee strikes. Her most dangerous moves include 2 unblockable grabs, which can instantly end the fight if not avoided. Her attack patterns are difficult to predict, making the battle one of endurance, timing, and precision. Compared to Sigrun, the Valkyrie Queen from the 2018 game, Na is considered even more formidable. She requires mastery of the game's mechanics, perfect dodges, strategic positioning, and minimal errors. Defeating her isn't necessary to complete the game, but for those who do, it's a deeply rewarding moment. It's a test of skill and a true rite of passage for any God of War player. Number 5. Scorpion, Black Myth: Wukong. Black Myth: Wukong is an upcoming action RPG from Chinese developer Game Science, and it's already gaining attention for its unique features. One standout feature: the game includes 107 unique bosses. To put that in perspective, most action RPGs include maybe 20 to 30. In Wukong, it feels more like non-stop boss obstacles, each fight bringing its own mechanics, animations, and style. While some encounters are relatively straightforward, others push the player to their limit. One of the most challenging is a completely optional boss found in Chapter 3, the Scorpion Lord. This fight doesn't even start like a traditional boss encounter. The Scorpion Lord is first seen casually drinking from a gourd, seemingly uninterested in conflict. The battle only begins if the player disturbs him by smashing his wine jugs, triggering a sudden and intense transformation. What follows is a high-pressure duel against a large, aggressive enemy. The Scorpion Lord fights with speed and strength, frequently inflicting poison while chaining together heavy-hitting combos. His wide-reaching attacks and fast movement make it difficult to find safe windows to strike. One of his most punishing moves involves burrowing underground and ambushing the player from below, with a dodge window that's particularly tricky to time. He isn't reliant on gimmicks. His difficulty comes from relentless aggression and high damage. Players often walk away from this fight defeated, only to return later with better skills and equipment. Number 4. Vergil, Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening, is widely regarded as one of the most challenging and stylistically iconic action games of its era. As a prequel to the Devil May Cry series, it explores the origins of Dante, presenting a younger, more impulsive version of the Demon Hunter as he begins his rise to power. However, at the core of the game is a deeply personal and intense rivalry between Dante and his brother Vergil, a relationship that culminates in the game's unforgettable final boss battle. Vergil is not a typical endgame boss. He serves as a mirror to the player, possessing many of the same abilities as Dante, but executing them with greater speed, precision, and discipline. His arsenal includes swift katana strikes, teleportation-based combos, and high-pressure attacks that punish repetitive or careless play. Unlike many bosses, Vergil can adapt to your patterns, forcing players to stay unpredictable and highly responsive. Each phase of the battle escalates in difficulty, demanding complete control over the game's mechanics, whether it's dodging, parrying, or managing style changes. The fight challenges not just mechanical skill, but the player's understanding of spacing, timing, and resource management. What elevates this fight even further is its emotional depth. This isn't a faceless enemy, it's Dante's own brother, with conflicting ideals and a shared past. That narrative weight gives every clash greater meaning. Number 3. Ishin, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Ishin, the Sword Saint from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Look, it's not even fair how tough this guy is. Unlike other From Software titles, there's no summoning buddies here. You're alone. Just you, your trusty katana, and your nerves of steel. First off, you're already stressed because you just got done fighting Genichiro from the previous fight. The real nightmare here is his relentless moveset. This guy's got it all. Crazy fast sword combos, perfectly timed counters, and attacks that'll punish you if your reflexes aren't razor sharp. The first time you fight him, it's overwhelming. Like seriously, he's teleporting, slicing at you from all directions, and even whipping out a spear and gun midway. Ishin's sword slashes are not only faster than lightning, they've got range you wouldn't believe, cutting deeper and farther than seems fair. Just when you think you've got the rhythm figured out, he goes and gets loose with unexpected AoE attacks that are gonna fry your brain. And the thing is, every phase, his attack patterns become wider and less predictable, which makes your carefully practiced strategies disintegrate before your very eyes. I mean, seriously, From Software Inc. knew damn well what they were doing. There's a reason this guy lands on so many top lists. He will make you feel completely outclassed. Every step forward feels like it costs a little piece of your soul and a whole lot of broken controllers. But dude, when you finally score that second kill move, it feels like you won the lottery. Number 2. Promised Consort Radon. Elden Ring. Shadow of Erdtree. Promised Consort Radon stands as the challenging final boss in Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Located atop the Enir Ilim Legacy dungeon, reaching him requires overcoming significant challenges, including defeating Mesmer, the Impaler, and Ramona, Saint of the Bud. Radon is an absolute beast of a boss. Towering in size, painted in red and gold armor with a lion-faced helmet, and swinging 2 massive swords like they're nothing. His fighting style is fast, aggressive, and punishing. He mixes brutal sword combos with gravity magic and big AoE, area of effect attacks that keep you on your toes the entire fight. The battle plays out in 2 major phases. In phase 1, Radon goes hard with quick sword swings, gravity magic, and wide-range attacks. He's super agile for his size, so you'll need sharp timing and smart movement to survive. The good news? He's vulnerable to holy damage, Scarlet Rot, and Frostbite here. If you've got weapons or spells that inflict those, use them. They'll make a total difference. In phase 2, things ramp up. Once you knock his health below 65%, Radon kicks into overdrive. He starts using holy infused magic, becomes even more aggressive, and throws out devastating AoE spells that are tough to dodge. On top of that, his resistance to holy damage goes way up, so you'll need to switch tactics. Pierce damage and mobility are your best friends here. Stay fast, keep moving, and don't get greedy. It's a high-stakes, 2-phase war against one of the hardest bosses in the game. Radon doesn't just test your build, he tests your patience, timing, and adaptability. Number 1. Absolute Virtue, Final Fantasy XI. Absolute Virtue from Final Fantasy XI is one of the most infamous boss fights in massively multiplayer online game history, and for a good reason. When it was first introduced in the Chains of Promethea expansion back in 2005, it wasn't just difficult, it felt deliberately unfair. This wasn't your typical endgame challenge. Absolute Virtue had a massive health pool, constantly healed itself with a powerful regeneration ability, and could cast Benediction, a spell that instantly restored all of its HP and removed every status effect. And Square Enix didn't explain any of this. Players were left to figure it out through trial and error, often battling for hours, only to watch the boss undo all of their hard-earned progress with one spell. A few dedicated groups did eventually find workarounds, relying on creative, sometimes exploitative strategies to defeat it, but rather than reward them, Square Enix responded by patching out those methods entirely. For a time, Absolute Virtue was quite literally unbeatable by conventional means. The frustration led to widespread backlash from the community. Eventually, after years of complaints and feedback, Square Enix issued a patch that lowered the boss's health and placed a time limit on the fight, making it more manageable, but still a serious challenge.